1934. Well, she been about leaving. I went in 1942, November 42, 1942. And I come out in November 1945. I was there 3 years and about 3 weeks, somewhere around there.
Wow.
My grandparents are,
So I'm not gonna record.
so I'm not gonna be able to hear it.
And I didn't come home all that time.
Really?
I started off, went to Keisha Field, and then they sent me down on the coast. They put me in the Air Force. Well, there's Army Air Force then. In the 90s, they changed it, I don't know, about 1947, I think. Just individual, just United States Air Force.
Yeah.
There's Keisha Field. Keisha Field, I mean. I went down there and they fixed me up and sent me to Fort Custer, Michigan, the military police school. I was up there 3 months. I had my 21st birthday in Fort Custer, Michigan.
Oh, really?
And they sent me to Brooksfield, Alabama. We formed a company and went. Well, we loaded on a train and went from there to West Coast. They were on a ship. We had a train wreck up in Kentucky.
Oh, really?
We went, when we left, we went by Memphis, but we didn't cross the river. I guess they were afraid that they'd dump us in the river somewhat. Well, that's what it was, probably. So we went on up the river, and somewhere up a part of Kentucky, we had a head-on wreck with another train.
Huh.
And we sat there for about, I don't know, about 3 days, I guess. I looked out and I could see the engine. It looked like the car behind it was just straddled the rails. It wasn't like plumb off, it was straddled up. And we went to Taylor, Illinois, then and crossed the river. And come right back down. Right back down and went west. There wasn't many through railroad lines to the west then, about 1 or 2. Well, about probably 3. Because we come back and we went through the Royal Gorge. I believe that's the Colorado Railroad runs through that. Went to Port of Embarkation in California. I think I was in. Yeah, it's about 40 miles from San Francisco, and I don't know whether there's a river or just a canal that they do, but we got on Army Queen boat. It was loaded down. What you done when you went aboard? You sit down, sit your bags down, bag down. You sit on that bag, and you didn't get up.
Oh, really?
Till we got the
Huh.
coast. I think about 40 miles. The coast. didn't need to go to the bathroom. Your eyeballs would be floating. You couldn't get up. You just had to sit where you sat.
Yeah.
On your back pad. Just going right around us. Camp Stoneman, California. Has a port of embarkation, that's all it was.
Huh.
I don't know, we was there about probably, I don't know, maybe a week. All I remember there, we had to climb a ladder. And best I remember was right as 100 foot high. And we had to have our barracks bag, all gas mask, rifle and everything. I'd run around, I think close to 80 pounds all that together. We had to climb that thing.
That's way up there.
I remember get to the Camp Stoneman. Now that's actually left to go on board the ship. It was a Dutch ship. Noordam, I can't spell it. It was a Dutch liner, what they call a Dutch liner. But he wasn't much of a liner to me. I was the third floor down, they took us down there. And they had cot. Well, all it was just a piece of pipe with canvas fast all. And that was fast to the wall, and that's where you slept. There was 6 high.
Oh.
And you had to climb each one to get on the top one. And I got that, they told me where to go. And I got the top and I said, yeah, that's my look. But it was good look.
Yeah.
They was the most sick folks moved that, now I was sick, but I didn't vomit. I think I felt better if I had a vomit.
Yeah.
But they were a lot of them, boy, sick. You get sick when you get aboard a ship like that.
Yeah, the moving.
And we was around 30 days. We went over there to San Francisco. Well, I did go to sleep. It's over in the morning. What daybreak yet.
Hey,
I did go to sleep. And when I woke up and got up and looked out, you could see land, but that's about all. And they say you can see, what, 12 and a half miles out on sleep. I think it's 12 and a half, maybe it's 6. I think it's 12. But it's just like coming up a hill. That's what it, if you see a ship coming, you see smoke and the smoke stack, and it's just like coming up a hill.
Huh.
That's where God made it. And he did.
Yeah.
If he didn't hold them together, they would pour out. So them, as we got over there, we went to Hams for Australia. And that's what they call down under. That's right down on the bottom of there.
Yeah.
Was that thing flying around on a sailor? What's that thing? It's nothing. Close the door.
But that's where we were supposed to win. My company. I was in 1127 military police company.
You ain't about to break my fingers.
There's 3 companies, 1125, 1126, and 1127. That was a battalion. And we were supposed to, well, we was unloading. I had them bags and I had just a small boat with a ladder on it. And they put it up there and you went up down that ladder on that small boat. About time for me to get on there, we pulled out. And that's the first time they ever told us where we was going. They said, your destination now is Port Morgan, New Guinea. That's the first time they told us. They didn't tell us. When we was going, you could look back and see it. Where the ship had been, it'd be just like this. I just put dodging submarines.
Oh, really?
And we did somewhere out in the Pacific Ocean one evening, it was late. They spotted the sub. And they said, I don't know now, I think they were early. If we took off back, we could outrun the sub. That's the reason when we was alone. We didn't go over in convoy. Well, we picked up a convoy at town of Australia and went to New Guinea. I believe, best I remember, the top speed of that ship was what they call 34 knots, but it'd be more miles per hour, about 37 miles, 38 miles. Ow. And we met a whale. They called over the loudspeakers about the whale. And he was coming this way. Oh, he wasn't far from here to the road. I don't remember. It might have been a little further in the back end of the old car. As you can see about, I'd say about a third of him. And he as long as from here to your car. He was a whopper. You see him just floating along in the water. He spurts water out of the back of his neck somewhere. But he wasn't scared of that ship or anything. And we crossed the equator. And they called over the loudspeaker, says, you better hold on. So they just said that.
Yeah.
We better hold on, there's gonna be a lot of loud bump. I remember crossing it, and they initiate you when you cross. Of course, they didn't have, most of it was officers. They'd throw them in a pool. They had a 2x4 pool built there, and they'd throw them officers in there and just initiate you. And they'd write you a card, and that was your initiated card. And if you kept that, when you come back across, you wouldn't have to be initiated. But I didn't. I don't even know when I crossed. I don't know where we crossed it coming back. I don't know whether New Guinea or where. We was in there's 3 waterfalls in New Guinea. I don't know what. One of the middle one is 200-foot fall, and the highest one is 300 foot. And they said then it was the highest waterfall in the world. So we went to the 200. We could walk it. You all by half a dozen hours. I guess maybe an Australian took us showed it to us, but it was falling straight down. 200 foot. And I guess the 300 foot won't make it. We was well at Port Morgan. We flew through a gorge. You could see You can see the mountain on each side. Oh, and Stanley Mountain is what it is. There's a gorge all the way through it. And we threw it. Well, what we done, they had a powder cover up above to keep the gas off. We went through that gorge. I don't know, it was how far, it was pretty good to be. We went to Boone. We were going over, we didn't know, we didn't even have no idea. Well, I never heard of it again. And these boys from Tennessee said, well, we went to Boone and Goona. Well, we went to Boone. We just his eye. And we camped on a river there, and I wonder now if that was the same river, 'cause it had the falls on it.
Yeah.
It must have been. It was the prettiest, clearest water. It was a pretty river. Just crystal clear.
Hmm.
They sent a echelon, a few boys up there with saws, and they cut the trees down. And when we got there, we cleared it. There was 6 to a 10. And there were 6 of us in that tent, and there was 3 of us knew how to use the chopping net. And we had, when we put that tent up, actually, I bet you it was bigger than, it's almost bigger than that couch over there. Of course, they didn't cut it down with it, but stump. We cut that stump out of there. The first thing you do is dig you a foxhole. That's the first thing. Yeah. You had a foxhole right beside of it. Back then, they had radar, but it wouldn't distinguish between a thunderstorm and an airplane. They give what they call a red alert, and it'd be a thunderstorm. Well, I was sleeping away and they give a red alert. And I said, ah, heck with it. I ain't gonna get up. This thunderstorm, but it wasn't a thunderstorm.
Oh, really?
I went back to sleep and I heard your bomb popping out on the airstrip. He was up on the airstrip. Boy, I went to the foxhole and I learned me a lesson right there, though. Get caught. Because we was in a lot of this. Just about every night there'd be planes come over and drop bombs. Just about every night.
Hmm.
Might be just one. He dropped bomb, but what he was to get you all frustrated, break your morale. That's what they was after. Of course, if a bomb fell on you, it broke more than you.
Yeah.
We stayed in a foxhole. And you could see that they had lights, these big lights, and they could pick up them planes, I don't know, way up, higher than the gun could reach.
Hmm.
I was amazed at how high Jewel White was he was in one of them outfits with the light, or the radar outfit's what it was. Radar was new then. I don't know how long we had it, but it was new. I guarded the red eye sight a lot of times. My biggest job was guarding a foot. But our job, a lot of our job was to patrol them airstrips. We had to, I don't know how many motorcycles we had in the county. We didn't have over 100 men. And we just about had a vehicle for everybody. We could do, a lot of them boys patrol them strips, especially at night. I didn't, I'm glad I didn't want to. I made the jeeps and we had a lot of boys in the company was from up north. A lot of them from Pennsylvania, Ohio, New York, and all of them. They was good boys, but they couldn't take it. They just couldn't take it.
Hmm.
And, of course, I was raised in a cotton patch. And they found it out. They put me on the foot patrol.
Yeah.
There was one time, if I remember right, there was 60, about 60 of our people, our boys in the hospital. And a lot, they picked up like malaria or a lot of other things. But I never did. I stayed my feet on the ground till we got to the shooting island and the tick bit, and I got that type of sweeter.
Oh, really? Hmm.
And that you either died or you didn't. There wasn't no cure for it. It's a cousin to what they call here spotted mountain fever. The tick carrier.
Huh.
A lot of boys had it. They went to the hospital and shooting islands. There was 2 of them on by it. I was on it, well, I was on it till we cleared it. Yeah, and they sent me over to Ord Island. That's where I had to go in the hospital. We took a little
Yeah,
old
what
capsule
about that
just to hold the fever down. It wouldn't help. And that's where I got the heart from. And it started, well, we went on to the Philippines. I was on guard duty one night. I got a year or something out just pretty close to 10. And my heart started kicking around. I didn't even know I had one to land. And we had a medic, nurse, and I went, woke him up, and he said, yeah, it's medicine there. But I'll take you to the doctor in the morning, and he did, and he's a Marine doctor, and it isn't it, well, you got a nervous heart. That's all it was. But I still got it. It's still kicking.
Yeah.
If I go to a doctor, well, if I go and they take a cardiogram, it gives them in trouble till I explain it to them.
Huh.
But I'm 88 years old and he's still doing it. Ain't nothing to worry about. It's just a nerve what it is.
Yeah.
That Marine doctor's right. I don't think he really cared whether I lived or died. He had a job to do.
Yeah.
A lot of boys got it. A lot of boys got it. Oh, well, a lot of them got killed. Well, Shooting Island, Mike Island, was where my war was. We landed one night, late one evening. They sent 5 of us out to work a roadblock. for the infantry. And it was some kind of roof. They like took the island back. It was rough. But that's where my worst war was. Especially ground war, what you call it, ground. I had a Japanese girl called her Tokyo Rose. And she come on the radio. And what her job was to get the morale all bad. She played some of the prettiest American music. Boy, she played some good music. Now, you go out over here and says 4F's, the ones you know that didn't make it. Is home with your girlfriend or your wife or what. It's a good program, man. Tokyo Rose. But she come on every night. I never did hear much, but I think it was right around the radio. But I heard her song.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was over somewhere during the supply down by God. I was on, I don't know, but I was on that night. A lot of times you guard airplanes. I guard airplanes a whole lot. Everything needs guarded, I've guarded. And then Japs come over and they hit a gas dump, supply down. Boy, you talk about a fire. And I knew this boy was guarding it, and I just worried. I said, well, he should have got him, but he got in a hole or something. He got out. I don't see how he did. Them Jap planes would come over at night, and the Navy be out in the Gulf Coast. And our guns, we call them attack guns, that's what they are, the parts of the plane. And they'd start firing at them airplane, and you could have read a paper. Every fourth bullet is a lit up bullet. What it is, it's got red powder in the back of that bullet. And when it's shot, it starts burning, and it's just a red streak going through that. The reason why I know what it was, I was guarding an airplane one night, and there was some laying there, and I got me one of them, my tracers, what they call them. I stuck it in the ground, and I lit it, and it just burned out there, just a minute, about a minute or two. But that's what they lit the sky up with. They would light it up, I mean, all over the place. I went from the shooting island, well, they sent me back to New Guinea to recuperate. Well, the reason why they sent it back was they was fixing to land the Philippines and clearing out them hospitals for the wounded, you know, come back in and making room for them. They sent us back there. I went back 2 places in New Guinea, Hollandia and then, well, I can't think of it. Anyhow, one morning, I was laying there on my cot. Doctor come to me. How you doing? Doing good. I want to go back to my outfit. He let me go that day. I had mine and his both mistake. That's where my heart problem come in for taking off too quick. I went down there for about a week. Went back. Well, went back to They landed in the Philippines. And I caught up with the outfit about D12. That's about 12 days after the initial land. It was either D8 or D12, I can't remember exactly. We went in a convoy, and the Japs hit us with what they call a suicide boat. And made it there. There was 3 of them ships like I was on. This just small ship. And while I was on them, they Pascagoula, Mississippi. It was roped right across the bow of the ship, Pascagoula, Mississippi. And one of them got hit. I couldn't see it. It was a big gun standing in my, and they said he got hit. And the way we got off, we ruined 2 of us. There was a man standing there, and the 2 of us run and went over the side on a rope ladder and got on a little boat. He got out there and went round and round and round. Well, everybody got off and then he took ashore. But they was in about, they had done took about 2 miles in when I got there. Henry Brannon, you don't probably never even heard of him. And Sterling Wright, you know John Wright, don't you?
I think so.
And Sterling Wright, he's oldest, he got killed there. And Henry Brannon, he was, both of them was my playmates at one time. They got really instruments. Both of them got killed there.
Hmm.
Let's see, that was a lady island. That's initial landing. I don't remember seeing him. I might have did. General Douglas MacArthur. He was the commander of the whole forces over there. And he come ashore and they said, I have returned. By the grace of Almighty God, I have returned. See, he got right out of, when they took Lady Island through the, Jeff took it back early in the war. And they took him out on what they call a PT boat. It was a fast boat, him and his family. But the reason why they took him out was make him commander of the whole forces. Well, he was a good man.
Yeah.
General Douglas MacArthur.
I heard of it.
Let's see, I used to name all the high. Used to, the 4-star general was high as a wind, but during the war they made 4 5-star generals. I believe that's right. And he's one of them. Eisenhower one of them. And there's about 2 in Washington up there, and I don't know whether. Admiral Hendrix, he was over the Navy, but he never been the same as a general on the rank, so I figure he got the other 5-star. Admiral Hendrix. General Tojo, Hideout Tojo, he was commander of all the Japanese forces. You heard a lot of him, boy.
I heard of him.
He got called a lot besides Tojo. That's his last name, Tojo.
Yeah.
G-O-J-O. Hideout was his first name. There's his spell in. Hideout Tojo. They hung me They hung him after he surrendered and went to Japan. I think they hung several of them. But the premier, his name is the president over Japan. They let him, well, now Eisenhower done is let him go because he had good control of the people. But after I left Philippines, I was on 3 islands of Philippines. I can't even name them now. Mindoro, one of them. Luzon's the main island, is what you call it now. They say there's over 700 islands of the Philippines. And I have to take your word for it. But I was on three of them. And I lived there and went to Okinawa. That was a Japanese island. It controlled, well, it was, when I got there, they had 100% liberated. But we had to gather up them people, Okinawa, whole families, and take them to what they call a compound, was a prison. I thought it was crazy, but I wasn't what I had to say. and I was on Okinawa when the war was ended. I was guarding General Whitehead. He is the commander of the 5th Air Force.
Oh, really?
I was guarding his sleeping quarters, and there was another boy in his kitchen where he had a radio up there. And he come down there, walked down where I was at. He says, well, the war's over, just come over to the radio. Man, I bet I was about 9 foot tall walking down. And it wasn't 5 minutes, the little jet plane come over, dropped the bombs right down the back. And man, I probably said some pretty bad words. But I think, I'm pretty sure it was, next night he come down there and said, it's really over. And all the big guns started shooting. I said, well, that's it, that's over. And it was. Of course, they loaded us on a plane, took us on to Japan as occupational forces. And the people there just, you wouldn't have thought they'd ever had a war with them. Of course, older people, there wasn't many young people, they'd all done been killed.